There's something scary here.
Oh, I thought you were just happy to see me.
A little bit. But there's something really, really scary. Let's get a word from our sponsors to figure out what it is.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
But what we are afraid of here at the Angry Joe Show is having our personal data leak onto the internet. Right now, it is so important to protect yourself with a VPN, and we have chosen Surfshark VPN.
Surfshark VPN. Why have we chosen Surfshark over all of the other ones to protect your data? Well, because they have the best deals. Not only is it 30-day risk-free to try out, so you can see if it's something that you want to get, but also it is on unlimited devices across friends and family.
All platforms.
So, all platforms, too. So there's really no reason not to try it, especially when we have this great deal, which is 83% off a 2-year plan. Plus, you're going to get 4 extra months for free when you visit our specific link at surfshark.deals/Angry Joe Show. And so what that works out to is about $2.21 a month. And for the right to not only protect your data, but also get around all that crappy geo-blocking at Disney and Hulu and Netflix, watch the movies that you want, I think that's worth it. And so that's why we partnered up with them. So thank you so much for clicking the link below. See if it's something you're interested in and enjoy the show. Bye, guys. Guys, Ghostbusters is back. Back in theaters. And no, I'm not talking about the 2016 terrible pussy fart queef of a film, Ghostbusters 2016, which that's their joke, not mine. If you remember, that's what they thought Ghostbusters was about. And now we have Ghostbusters Afterlife. I think the film was delayed, but it's finally out in 2021. As you can see, I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I got all sorts of Ghostbusters shit, and we went back through the old... We've been through terrible Ghostbusters video games, one really good video game with the original cast, and some terrible comedy films from Melissa McCarthy and the rest of the... The Queef crew. So this is not the Queef crew. Instead, we have a brand new cast headed up by the Stranger Things kid Wolf, yeah, and Phoebe, the granddaughter of a particular Ghostbuster. So
you'll never guess.
You'll never guess which one it is.
They tell you in the trailer, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean, she's got glasses.
It's pretty
simple to figure out Spangler.
How long did it take you to figure it out?
About 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks.
I was like comparing. Wait a minute.
This is the same picture.
What?
Okay, so let me start by saying, is it as bad as 2016's?
10 times better than that trash.
It's 15 times better than that trash, in my opinion. They take Ghostbusters seriously. That you can tell that the heart is in the right place in this film. In fact, this is directed by the son and partly written by the son of the original director. And I think it comes through here that this one is paying very much homage to the original, paying a lot of respect. And the Ghostbusters universe, for longtime fans, this film is going to be a wonderful checkbox of things that they've wanted to see to sort of wrap up the story and kind of hand it off to a new generation in the right way. Now, for non-fans, I don't know if the film is enough of a film in order to work on its own without the original, Ghostbusters. And, yeah. So, the description of the film: when a single mother and her 2 children move to a new town, they soon discover they have a connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy that their grandfather left behind. What did you guys... I'll start with you guys. What did you think of the film?
This movie is 10 times better than the 2006 one by comparison. But with that being said, there was a lot of, hey.
Wasn't as good as you were hoping.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, it was not. Like,
Same here.
it was fine for what it was, but it was too much of, hey, remember this, remember this.
Yeah, remember
this.
berries?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was too much of that, and everyone took like backstage, all the actors, but the real standout for me was Phoebe.
Phoebe, okay.
Phoebe was amazing.
Yes.
I really liked her character. She really shined, but everything else is like, man, it was all right.
Okay, but much better than 2016.
Oh, yes.
Okay, what do you think, Alex?
This was way better than I expected it to be. I have so many issues with, like, if I think about it like critically, there's so many issues that I've got with the movie. I think they dropped the ball toward the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But like 3/4 of the way through this movie, like I'm all on board. I've got those delicious member berries and the nostalgia, and I think that the spirit was kind of there for the most part.
In more ways than one. We'll get to the spoilers, but this is the non-spoiler section,
Yes.
guys. So nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like this one much better than I thought. Like it is flawed. I really think they dropped the ball towards the end. There were some things that I think they didn't handle very well. But as someone who's a massive Ghostbuster fan, this was a pretty good time. I had a pretty good time with it.
As you can tell, I also had a good time with it. But let me first say that I had to turn off my critic brain, because my critic brain was going off all over the place. My sort of nitpicky, that doesn't make sense. No, how is that possible? How do these kids know? Obviously, okay, you go to the farmhouse, and the farmhouse has, old technology in there. And these kids are interacting with this technology as if they've always known how to interact with the technology. This could have been called, instead of Ghostbusters Afterlife, I was like, this is Ghostbusters Coincidences, the movie, because there are so many of those moments in the movie where the first try, like they've been practicing all their life, and then this character is in the exact right place at the exact right time. You know those. It's called bad writing. It could be written better in certain ways to shore up those feelings, because it completely breaks my suspension of disbelief. But it does it so goddamn much that it turns into a live action cartoon for me. And so when you're going in, when you leave your cynicism out, when you're going in with that mentality that, you remember the cartoon Ghostbusters?
Yes.
That wasn't as good as like the original movie, at least for me, but I thought it was really cool.
I love the cartoon.
And this feels like a story in the Ghostbusters cartoon. And in more ways than one, because the Ghostbusters cartoon kind of took a detour with Ghostbusters Kids, and it's like, oh my God, I don't like Ghostbusters Kids. Look, kids don't look up to other kids. They want to be the fucking Ghostbusters. They want to be, Spengler. They want to be Venkman. They want to be, so it's like, and we get that here. However, these Ghostbuster Kids are actually done, like you said, really well. I liked Phoebe as a character. I even liked Podcast, which is this extremely eccentric kid who
Cartoon. He's a
cartoon
cartoon.
character.
He's a cartoon.
He literally is a cartoon. I mean, that's what you would find in the real Ghostbusters cartoon character, who becomes her friend, and he literally records everything. I guess that's kind of me, because I literally record everything. But okay, I can see it happening. But it's just that suspension of disbelief was broken so many times that you have to go, okay, this is a sort of a fantasy world, and don't think of it as Ghostbusters kind of in real life, because even the original Ghostbusters kind of irreverent to some of the material. They know kind of how crazy it is, but here it's like, everything is treated with such awe, and it's like that's cool because I'm a fan, but maybe it should be treated this other way. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is I stopped caring about it trying to make sense in a real world situation, and I had fun with it. And the film has enough heart and good intentions and a good sort of conclusion, especially to a few character storylines, that I really enjoyed it. And I think it's a good starting point for the future, because you see at the beginning of the film they do Ghostbusters core, and this is a company that was in charge of the 2016, some like reboots, animations. They really want to try really hard to bring the Ghostbusters franchise back. And I think it does just enough to get me interested to see, okay, where do you go with it now? Because I want a little bit more originality. The film, unfortunately, supplements original ghosts, original situations, original final boss with nostalgia berries and nostalgic. And the issue for me, and that's great and everything, but it takes too long to get to the good bits, kind of. You know what I mean? That final thing at the end of the film, it is so rushed feeling. It's like, go, 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 because I was looking at my watch, I was like, holy fuck. Like, the film has been going an hour and 37 minutes.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And
I'm
like, how
man,
the fuck is there
hour.
going to be a satisfying conclusion to this? And it's rushed as hell at the end. And I just wish we spent more time with the ghosts, more time with the mystery and the stuff. I want to say who's in it, but I don't want to say who's in it. You've seen it in the trailer, the Sumerian dog, so you can figure out who's in the film. But ultimately, I think it's a wonderful send-off that I thought was done well in certain areas and done poorly in other areas, but it does give it some closure, and it's a little more mixed than I was hoping. I wanted them to, like, bam, hit this one out of the park. Not necessary. It's a base hit.
If you can,
it's not a home run.
To the other one, it is.
It is a home run compared to the other
slam.
one. But no, this is more like a base hit than a home run, right? Or a grand slam. No, the original was a grand slam, and you're not reaching that.
No.
We know that that's not going to be the case because not even their sequel could reach that. But I just thought the best parts of it were the original parts. And then when they went back and started doing the nostalgia berries, it's good to have some, right? Because you connected to the original, but I think might have gone a little too far with it. What do you guys think?
Oh, no, same thing for me. Like, the best thing was, like, Phoebe and Paul Rudd's character. They're like, all right, let's what's going on here? The little mystery with the podcast.
Yeah.
Those little three were, like, the main stars. And everyone else kind of took a back seat. That's why whenever you were saying, oh, it's kind of a good send-off, like they could pass the torch. The only one I could kind of see is Phoebe. Everyone else is not.
I see Phoebe,
like,
and
whatever.
I even see Podcast. You know,
Yeah,
I see
like
him
a
a little bit.
sidekick or
but
something,
the
like-
rest of them, it does feel like they're
I
kind
feel
of
like
forced.
Podcast is kind of like a Rick Moranis kind of thing or something. But
well, they tried to do that with Paul Rudd's character. How did you like Paul Rudd?
I like Paul's character.
How do you not like Paul
he's
Rudd?
very
He's so
charismatic.
good.
He's charming. So
He's a charming guy.
Those three
but
were like the main ones.
He was relegated to the side a little more than I thought he would be.
Yeah.
I thought he would be Ghostbusters, and he's more like Sidebusters.
Yeah,
side
and
thing.
I really liked whenever they were teaming up trying to figure out what's going on. I was like, well, like it's an hour in. There's no ghosts. Like, what's gonna happen? We still haven't found any.
You know what you see in the
packs or
trailer, guys?
anything.
Those ghosts you see in the trailer, that literally is what you see in the film. It is like that quick of a montage.
Yeah, that's
and it's
what
a
it's kind of
montage that's
unset.
being talked over almost, so you don't really get the full effect of it. And so when I say it takes too long to get to the good bits, it takes too long to get to good bits.
Yeah. So that's my summary right there. So if we're gonna give final verdict, I don't know if we are yet.
I don't think it takes.
Not yet.
No, I don't think it takes too long to get the good bits because I actually liked the build up to it,
Okay.
and I think they rushed the good bits. And
Okay.
that's how I would phrase it for me. I like that they're fleshing out the world, they're establishing these characters, and then we get to the end, and then it's over. And that's not what I wanted. This movie
Right.
needed 30 more minutes. And I don't often say that about movies, but
Right.
I did enjoy the first
I
part of this
agree.
movie. And look, I get like there's so many things where it's like, okay, of course the ghosts only follow the streets. Nothing makes sense. Like, it's a fucking movie based on another movie from it's fine. But like I'm a big fan. And I love seeing all this kind of stuff, and you see all these new people, experience. Like they pick up the proton packs, and you're like, oh, cool, that's cool. There's this collections of molds. Mold, spores, and funguses, and it's like, oh, that's great, because I liked all that stuff. It just by the time we get to the ghost busting part of this movie, it ends, and it is so unfortunate because I thought that they were building up to something that I was truly gonna like. I wanted to sit here and go like, I'm a huge fan of the Ghostbusters. I want you as new audience
Check
people
it out.
to be a big fan, and I don't think that's the case here. I think a lot of people are watching go, it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling.
And here's another thing is the movie seems a little afraid to go into the darker, scarier stuff, like the kind of real tension that's like the library scene in the original Ghostbusters. I saw when I was younger, obviously when you're an adult it's not scary, but when you're younger it can be a little spooky. And they didn't really do any spooky. I wanted
time.
more.
The very beginning.
There's one time in the beginning. I actually love the opening sequence of this. I thought it was smartly written, a great way to dive into the universe again. There's the Ghostbusters thing. A car is driving, or no, it's just a truck. It's just a truck driving, and then you see this unseen thing, and it smashes into the car, and it's visceral. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna go hard here. And then the film starts, and it's new characters, and we take the kids' angle, and I was like, but hey, this is good setup. And then it's like, okay, but let's get to let's go. But all right, let's get to the good bits. And then we get to the good bits, and we rush, and then it's over. It's like, oh, fuck. All right. So, yeah, the focus on the kids makes this obviously a different film and feeling from the originals and even the 2016. I wish I would stop mentioning it. But the focus on the kids makes it more of a Stranger Things kind of feeling, more of a Goonies kind of thing. Goonies way better. But you know what I mean? The kind of kid type of story than say, Ghostbusters and what we're used to. It's Ghostbusters for kids. I think this film works better. I wish, we should have asked, because I heard some kids in the theater laughing, having a good time.
I also heard some kids, and I hate them.
I know,
and I don't hate
Alex.
them. Actually, that's wrong. I hate the parents.
Yeah. Joe hates it when people clap in the theater, but this one I was like, all right, I got it.
If your kids
are
not old enough to sit quietly in a movie theater, you do not bring them to the Alamo Drafthouse, which is known for like these kids would not stop talking.
Yeah. So but we should have asked one of them what they thought, but it sounded like they were having a great time because I think this is Ghostbusters for kids, more
Kids
so
like
a film
Space
for
Jam,
them
too.
rather than a film for us. Yes, kids are stupid, Joe. We know that. I just didn't want to say that. Okay.
I'm just saying.
All the hate directed to this guy.
I'm just saying. Kids liked it.
But here's the thing: we can't really center on the old team or anymore because for the longest time they tried to get Ghostbusters 3 going. Bill Murray famously sat on it. Dan Aykroyd famously had crazy ideas like going to fucking hell, and then later on kind of worked it into maybe an death and the ghost going into the paranormal and afterlife stuff. And he kind of got a little bit of his wish in a side way with Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I never actually anticipated what we were going to get until I started watching the film. I said, oh, shit, I know what's coming. Ghostbusters Afterlife. And so it worked out, and I liked it, and I understood why people clapped, especially at that moment. But so far, if you had to go with a new team, I think going with Spengler's Air was the right move. And the Phoebe thing, I think, worked out. But the other characters needed to be fleshed out more, and there needed to get to the good bits a little sooner so we can revel in the Ghostbuster-y stuff and then move forward. But here, it just does it real quickly at the end, and it's like, oh, darn it, now I have to wait for a sequel. All right, let's go to... Oh, and I do want to say one other thing. I was really surprised with some of the humor here and the tone. I will say that I think that this is a confused tone at times, right? It wants to satisfy little kids with the little fucking marshmallow dudes, but it also wants to satisfy adults with horrifyingly killing these marshmallow guys, and some of the jokes and things was a little bit more adult. So I think the tone was off a little bit at times. Also going between the cartoony stuff and the real life kind of stuff, the situations just kind of being completely outlandish where it's like the kids already know. We're going on an adventure. They know exactly how to operate all this equipment. Let's fucking go. You know what I mean? You just have to fucking leave all that behind. So, final verdicts.
No, I'm with you on that one. Like, they honestly... For me, they could have cut that part out with the whole mushrooms and done some more like spirits
that
going
was
around
the first
town.
thing they released, and it was like it actually doesn't really fit in the film.
No.
It didn't. You could take that part out, and the film would be fine.
I wanted to see like something else, like more apparitions or something around the town or something. But instead, like we were just gonna focus on the marshmallows. Okay, well, I guess this is for the kids.
Member
I
berries
don't- I was
and
like,
the
yeah.
kids. Yep.
Yeah,
and
and then
and
they
it was
drive it away,
disappointing.
you
The boss battle and the who is in the film. The final thing, they retread what they've already done before.
For me, this is going to be probably a 6. I did enjoy it, but like some of the parts there was a lot of remember stuff, and
I'm curious
I really
what we
wanted
gave, what you and I gave the previous film. Was Alex, were
probably
you there?
trash.
I've never
Michelle,
seen it.
yeah.
I don't
It was
know.
like fucking 1 or
don't
2,
remember.
something like that.
But yeah, this
I just want to compare it to your rating.
above
here.
average for me. It's like a 6. I do like some of these parts whenever like they did try to do his own thing
Yeah.
with like Phoebe and the podcast. I wanted to see more of that,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like do something to unite the group before, as opposed to like just split them up and then join at the end. And it's like, all right, we have a fight. I was like, well, this like again, these people don't really deserve to wear the uniform. but
Boom!
whatever.
There it is. I like that.
It's like
They
whatever.
don't deserve to
Alright,
wear the
but
uniform.
some of the pacing was kind of dipping for me in the middle as
Yeah.
well, because it kind of didn't get the mystery was like only like a couple minutes. It's like, all right, we got to figure out what's going on in this mountain. It's like, all right, let's figure out. They go upstairs or they go to the mountain, and they don't really do like enough investigation, I guess, because that's what the whole Ghostbusting thing is. Like, you
Yeah.
go do some investigations, kind of like a Winston went downstairs. The underground, you see the train, you get that spooky
I like
atmosphere
that, yeah.
and stuff like that.
They're in it from the beginning in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
There's all the ghosty
I
stuff.
wanted to
and
see
then
like
this
more like,
stuff.
all right,
There's
they
none of
experience some
that.
other stuff, but it
Oh,
kind of
no.
does happen here, but
You're
it's
right.
real quick.
You're so
It is
right.
too
it's
quick.
too quick. Fuck.
So it's gonna be a 6 though.
Yeah. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think this is between an above average and a good film. I mean, I'm trying to like sort out how much of it is, the ravenous 80s nostalgia for this movie that I had on VHS that I watched all the time.
There was a lot.
I had a buddy on the street that had the Ecto one with the pop out thing.
Oh,
I
the
never had it.
motherfucker, I never had
Yeah.
that. I wanted the set, the building. That's the one.
Oh,
had
the,
Legos.
yeah,
Man,
the
that
thing to
fucking
open.
building.
Yeah,
They have Legos of it.
Yeah.
They do,
Oh, you
yeah.
son of a
I need to get
bitch.
it.
So like I grew up and that was so important to me, and it was so great seeing a lot of familiar things. But you're absolutely right. When it comes down to it, like there's no like the team are just there. That's the 4 closest people, so they're on the team now. A couple of the people just seem kind of out of.
Oh, for sure.
And then the writing
chick-
is super, super uneven. It starts pretty strong, and then it continues to go, and then it slows down a little bit, and then we just hit the third and final act, and then it just is over in 10 minutes. And so it's just ultimately I enjoyed so much of it, and especially with like they try to emotionally almost manipulate you towards the end, but there's an emotional ending, but it's kind of after the whole ending of the film. They're just trying to see this part's emotional. It's like, yeah, I get that, but the last part you just did was not good. Like what happened? It's just not good. So I'm also going to go with the 6. But if you're like me, I think that you'll enjoy this movie.
6 out of 10, which is slightly above average. God, I'm a huge fan of Ghostbusters, and I'm just happy they didn't fuck it up like they fucked it up in the 2016 version. Most
like
of the
dancing?
jokes worked. Phoebe was funny with her really dark jokes and some just offbeat humor that shouldn't work. It's like not funny, but it is
But
funny.
it's something Egon would say.
Yeah, it's like an Egon. She's totally Egon. And that part of the film works really, really well. We just wish the rest of the film was built up as well as the story between, Egon's granddaughter and then the conclusion of sort of an old foe and the just the Ghostbusters operation, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to dance around everything. So we have to really get into spoilers. I'm going to go, it's definitely not 10, 9, 8. I think I'm between a 6 or a 7. And if we had, you've seen it in the trailer, we get like a new kind of Slimer. We get what's his name? Gobbler, Muncher. Yeah, we get that as a supplement into the Ghostbustery stuff. And then sort of that trailer scene where you see the Ecto-1 just drive around the streets when they're firing their proton packs. But that's really what the film kind of, that's mostly what you get until that rushed final confrontation. And so I'm going to have to also go as much as it. No, I'm going to go 7 out of 10. I was about to hit 6, but then I remembered the conclusion. And I think that was a great send-off. And I know people are going to complain about it. They're going to say, well, is that appropriate? Is it tacky? Is it classless? And I disagree. I thought it was well done. And obviously, we'll have to talk about it in the spoilers. So anyways, that's our opinion of Ghostbusters Afterlife. We like it. We wanted to like it even more. And hopefully, maybe in the sequel, they can go crazy. If you look at it as the real Ghostbusters cartoon series, and it's focusing on the kids, I think you'll like it and have some fun with it. Turn your brain off, though.
Yeah. There's a post-credit, too. Right?
There is a post-credit scene, and that
it's a mid-credit.
Yeah, mid-credits.
Mid-credits, and that was a good one. So we'll talk about it in the spoilers. If you want the spoilers, stick around. Yeah, and what I have right here, guess what's in here?
Muncher.
No, that's not Muncher. This is the 2016 film. So I'm going to make sure that I secure that and keep it away and never get
unleash that atrocity.
Anyways, we'll see you in the spoiler section. Hey guys, welcome to the spoilers for Ghostbusters 2021, and so let me just say
2021/1984.
Correct. Because
so
you saw it in the trailer, and I just didn't want to say ruin it. The original team is in the film. You can look it up, the cast and the credits. The original team does come back. I liked it. I really did like it, and I thought that this was necessary, especially, I'm like Dan Aykroyd. I love Dan Aykroyd. I'm on Dan Aykroyd's side. I wanted another Ghostbusters film to happen, and I wanted it to do justice to the original team. We'll never have the original team back together, and this is a good send-off. Now the original team is completed, and so now we can go into the future, and we can discover things itself. The original team helped recapture Gozer, the Sumerian, and then also they do it. They actually do it. They have Egon in the film as a CGI
I
ghost
knew that was going to happen.
and character. We knew it was going to happen, but I didn't know with at least how Disney did. I know this isn't Disney, but Disney has this aversion to do. I mean, they've done Actually, no, they've done.
They
CGI
said they weren't
stuff.
going to, but they
said
did.
they weren't going to, but they ended up doing it. And so I thought that they might try to steer clear of that, and they didn't. In fact, they made it the focus of the film. And they gave closure to Egon's character. They kind of had to maybe do a little bit of gymnastics because I don't think Egon and the original team would disband in that way. Egon's like, we need to protect against the end times. Gozer is coming back, he would have told them. And then been like, okay, let's fucking go. They get their proton packs and they'll stay vigilant. And instead, he becomes a hermit. It's like they needed the excuse to force the new team to come in. I didn't like that either. That's what I'm saying. That's the one part that doesn't work.
Yeah, this actually lowered my score of the movie. So it's worse than actually you describe it. Egon is trying to tell the team that the world is going to end. It's going to end here. The same guy who built the place in New York built a place out here, and I found it. And they don't believe him. And that doesn't make any sense. They don't believe him.
That doesn't make any
And then
goddamn
not only
sense.
that, but then he abandons his wife and children, leaving them penniless, and then he just lives out there. So it's like not only they send him off nice in the end, but they drag him through dog shit the whole movie until the very end.
Her whole childhood.
Now we're going to 6.
6
out of 10. 6 out of 10.
She's like, yeah, he was a piece of shit father. I never knew him.
Yeah, I never knew him. He abandoned me.
And then they say, okay, well, it's fine. Because the whole time he was down there, he was looking at pictures of her and tracking her life.
I'm sure that makes her feel better.
But at any moment, he could, I know. But it did make her feel better for some fucking reason.
Because it was in the script.
Because it was in the script. And now you happy. Aww.
Yeah. Right. That's why we probably knocked
It's like,
it down.
come on,
3
don't do my boy
3
Egon
or
like
4
that.
points. That's why I did give a negative
Oh,
3.
yeah,
and the
same.
fact that the climax was a little rushed. Y'all went -4. So there's that. But I do like the fact that the original characters come back. I just love Dan Aykroyd and I love Bill Murray, and I think that it was good to see the original team come back and help out because
like
it is Gozer. They find. I know. Gozer looks different. Obviously, it's not the same actress. And
To Olivia Wilde, it looks close enough.
they do a great joke when Gozer first shows up. Because apparently the ghosts from underground are trying to pop up, and once every few years the Gozer thing starts to happen because of that architect. They even shoved the architect in there, and his body. He's like waiting for them to come back. His story's like non-existent.
But that's the part I kind of like. Though.
Yeah,
It's like,
me
hey,
too. That's
rip
like the
them in
cartoon.
half, though. Rip them in half.
Yeah,
like,
but that was ridiculous looking.
I
It was
like,
bloodless
okay,
and it was stupid.
but
and I
still,
was like,
do
that's dumb.
stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
instead
more
of the
stuff like that.
stupid
Yeah.
marshmallow
Yeah,
shit.
you're right. That was cooler than marshmallow stuff. That's why I said the tone of the movie is like, what? So we're doing marshmallow and then we're ripping people in half? What? Okay. But anyways, she looks cool. If Phoebe comes in and starts making jokes and I was like, say it. Ask Phoebe if she's a god, but she doesn't. She
Later.
Later.
I like that one. That was a funny one.
Yeah, it was a funny one. They take the god joke back. Dan Aykroyd shows up. Actually, the whole original team. She asked them, "Are you remember me, Gozer?" And I guess Gozer doesn't remember the team because she doesn't immediately try to get rid of them because it's like, "Oh fuck, the only team that defeated me."
Gozer does nothing in this movie other than
She's just a
rip someone
prop.
in half for no reason.
She's a prop.
So, like, the issue is you've got the all-powerful god of this other dimension, death, right?
Yes.
That's the Sumerians. This character does nothing.
It's like she's Gozer's daughter. That would have made more fucking sense because she's got no urgency of anything what's going on. She's just, hanging out. It's like, all right, I'll start my empire eventually or something.
Well, and then the Gozer gets outwitted by a child telling her jokes so they can capture one of the Dugs.
Right. Because
The climax of this movie
she's a child.
This climax
She's
of
a
this
child.
movie is so rushed.
That's a cartoon.
dumb.
It is super rushed and done. That's what I said. I agree with that 100%. It just happens so goddamn fast. They deal with Gozer. They actually trap one, and I was like, oh my god, the gatekeeper and the keymaster are back, and it's like I liked it in the old film. But when we're doing it here, it's like a pale imitation. And in fact, it goes past cartoon territory and goes to jumping the shark and just cringe when she transforms into Sigourney Weaver, essentially, her dress, and then they're all acting lovey-dovey and they're gonna have sex, and that moment, but yet he's still Paul Rudd as the keymaster, and he makes a dumb joke in the evil voice. It's just
like your eyes.
It was just cringy for me.
It was terrible. And then they have him walk like an idiot. And then also she looks at a child and she's like, are you the one I'm going to have sex with? And everyone's
that was a little creepy. That's what I was saying. Again, the tone
doesn't
what the
make
fuck
sense.
is
happening here?
Even the
don't
kid's
know.
like, well,
you
were
could
getting
have
a
put
little
anybody.
humpy.
You could have put a fucking mailman showing up delivering mail, so it's adult on adult. You don't need to
child,
put that.
little kid.
I don't understand.
The kid said, he's like, you were getting a little humpy. But it was kind of inconsistent, too, because she's like, oh, what happened? I don't know what happened. And Paul's like, hey, you remember we did all this stuff? She's like, yeah, I remember.
It was pretty sweet.
It's
You
like,
remember
wait, you
when-
just said you didn't remember. You're possessed and all this stuff.
Well, actually,
It's
the
like,
same
wait.
thing happened for Podcast. Podcast said, shame on me. I don't remember any of I never knew about any of this New York original Ghostbusters stuff. Then later on in the film, he's like, oh, yeah, well, that's the thing with the thing. As if he knows the Ghostbusters lore or something like that.
Maybe he did 8 days of research in the time the movie happened.
Then I even pulled an Alex. I was like, wait, the power level is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Because Gozer was fighting the 3 Ghostbusters with their stream, and then he just blows them off. He's like, whatever, and pushes them away.
Correct.
And then Phoebe's like,
No,
there with her
not
one.
quite pushing them away. She struggles to get the cross stream.
uncrosses
She
all 3
streams and
and
then
But
pushes
loses
there's
to
only
one.
3 proton packs, not 4 proton packs.
But she loses to 1 proton pack.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I pulled an Alex. It's like, God damn it, Alex.
Right,
It's
so
like,
then
what?
you do that. She does that, but then all of a sudden she has problem. Did we do an emperor? We did a fucking emperor.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I was like, what? No, this.
I'm gonna go back and edit. I'm gonna go 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
Because it's just her.
Yeah.
That's it with the proton pack, and they're like, she's holding
My
her own.
nostalgia, Barry.
But
my
Egon,
glasses are
Egon
wearing
was
off
holding.
a little
But that
bit.
doesn't matter.
I know
it's
it-
still the same power.
I know it doesn't matter, but
It's still
but
the same
Joe,
power.
Okay,
Egon,
shut the fuck up, Joe. Egon has ghost powers.
he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Shut up! I'm telling you this.
He can only play
I
chess.
am making it. I'm writing it.
I'm just saying.
I know.
It's inconsistent.
Okay,
It would have been better.
inconsistent. But anyways, the Egon and his granddaughter come together and fight back against. And that's not what defeated her, guys. What defeated
Well, I
her.
understand that, but he was
is
like holding
that
her in
the
place.
trap. The whole farm is
Yeah.
a trap, and it was a distraction. And then the original Ghostbusters shoot her from behind. Then you've got Egon. You assholes! Don't you remember the 3 ones from back, and then the one from the front, and then motherfucking Wolf, Stranger Things hits the thing, and it powers everything, and it gets.
No, I know, I get that, but they're like all 3 of them were shooting, and like 2 seconds later, she pushes them away. She's like, "Oh, whatever." Over here, she's
It's
like,
not
5
2
minutes.
seconds later. She didn't
5
push him away
minutes.
2 seconds later. She struggled a little bit. That's not 2
Okay,
seconds.
5 minutes. Right. Less than that.
It's
actually.
it's rushed and
It
it's
is.
not
Yes,
well
it was
thought out.
rushed.
And
Right.
it was what's
I
absurd
agree
about
with
it
that.
is
I
think
just have to be devil's advocate.
Yeah, the
But
first
I agree
couple-
with you two.
the first couple acts of the film are actually, in my opinion, pretty good, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much, and then when they dropped the ball,
Yeah.
it was heartbreaking because Gozer sucks, the dogs suck, everything involving the last act
Yeah.
of this movie sucks until we get the send off for
Yeah.
Harold. Right?
Yes.
They do the super emotional thing
Yes.
with Harold, and I loved
There it
it,
is.
and it's
Okay.
and
This
it's,
is like,
it's
man,
amazing.
They look up at the stars. It says for Harold, and that's when people started clapping.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Go ahead and clap.
That was-
because I'm like Joe. Joe gets so fucking pissed
okay,
off
no,
when
that
people
was
start
whenever
clapping
like
in the theater.
they show
and I
up.
was like, no, this was fine.
No, whenever they first show up, the 3 people, the original squad, then the one guy's all
Yeah, the people in the back were
"Woo!"
clapping in the
one-
middle
I
movie.
didn't hear that one.
Yeah, I was like, no, like the movie's not over. Let me just enjoy this right now. Clap whenever it's
Joe hates
fucking
it.
done.
All right. Anyways, so we have all that, and you're right. There's definitely story issues and rush
Yes.
issues at the end, and it's like you were smart enough to take your time setting it up in the first act and then the second act, but then that third act is so damn rushed.
Yeah.
It's like this much of the film, and the rest maybe it needed to be a TV series, I guess, but you
I
know,
could see that.
Right.
It's 20 minutes longer. This movie's not super
or
long.
20 minutes longer.
How
would
long
have
is this
even been
movie?
better. It's 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Oh wow, it's longer than I thought. Yeah, it
Yep.
could have been. It could have been 20 minutes longer.
2:36. If Eternals can be 2 hours 36 minutes, so can fucking Afterlife, and it needed it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Well, it's like the third act of this is just as disappointing as the third act of Eternals too.
2 hours 4 minutes. Yeah.
Bad guy shows up and is like, "Oh, never mind, bye."
Oh, we forgot about that one.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. So Venkman, it's just everybody's back, and it's I just cool. They're like, hey, we're from home office, the original team. It's like, but they got together last minute because Phoebe called Ray and was telling him a story and stuff, and he gives exposition center on what kind of happened with the original team, which
I hate it.
it makes
stole
sense
everything.
that they were really good at their fucking job. They busted up all the fucking ghosts, and I'm like, yeah,
All
that
over
makes
And then,
the
sense.
then Egon robbed
And then
them.
they make no more money. Oh, that's the part that we all agree we don't like.
And then he stole their proton packs, but they have
Right,
proton
and never
packs.
fucking told. And well, I guess they did tell him.
They had
They
one at
tell him,
home
but
base.
nobody believed it, which didn't make any fucking sense.
So where did the proton packs come
It's
from?
hard to.
They had one in their closet. Everyone has their original one.
No, he didn't take all of the fuel for everything that he said he took.
No.
Yeah, they're like nuclear reactors on their back. I was hoping the little kid would move away from it, but no. These little kids find a proton pack, and they immediately. It should have been like the one kid's fucking head explodes and blood goes everywhere.
Well,
with a
Phoebe was
cassava.
so good
If
at making
accidentally.
jokes that he could have been like, "Oh, I turned on really well." It's like, "Oh yeah," and then I wanted her to make a joke. It's like, "Oh, we could have both just died and killed everyone in this town."
Yeah.
It's like, look, she was so good. Her writing
Yes.
was so good. The acting was great. So like, I really like that character, and I don't want to shit on this movie too much. But man,
Well,
did they fuck it up at the end?
We like to do the nitpicking, and,
Yeah.
and it's not even. This is not even nitpicking. These are like major things
Yeah.
in the film that are wrong. And if it was written better, then it would have rose to
wanted
a
to
7,
love this
8,
movie.
9, 10. We all wanted to love the
Yeah,
movie.
and again, it didn't feel like a team. So I wanted
what- who?
that.
Yeah.
Who?
It didn't.
This-
What,
There were no teams in this
The brother
movie.
character.
The only team was
brings his
Podcast and
girlfriend
Phoebe,
in,
that's it.
And his girlfriend is automatically on the team, and she busts open a door out
She
of nowhere.
steals a cop car
She
from her
steals-
dad. And is like,
Yeah, why did she do that? And why did she bust open the door and it's
No
like,
one
and she's
told her
part
how
of
to
the
turn
team.
on the proton pack
Yes,
yet?
everyone's like.
You can't. Oh, by the way,
piloting.
you can't even turn on your own proton pack because we've established this in the movie.
Yeah,
So like,
well.
who turned her pack on?
She turned it on while it
She
was
took
on
it
the
off
ground
and turned it-
then
just like a-
turned it on.
Okay,
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Anyways, obviously, cartoon. Obviously, this is our new team. So who is our new team now? We have
No.
No,
but
no one.
Phoebe
If this, I'm going
podcast.
to take away a point if this is a start of something.
Yes.
If it's a
You
movie,
just want it to be a standalone.
yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
So a five out of 10.
Well, no, not
Because this,
seriously.
I guarantee you, Ghost Corp as a company did not form in order to not try to.
I
Again.
imagine
this to
TV
make
series that I won't watch. Maybe a video game that I
Oh,
may play.
I'm gonna if you still with us, I'm gonna fucking make you watch it. What do you mean you won't watch? This is our job.
It's the afterlife,
Anyways,
Alex.
the new team is Trevor. That's Fun Wolfhard. Phoebe,
Nope.
and then Celeste O'Connor, which is Phoebe's classmate. Does she not have a name in the film?
Phoebe's classmate is
Podcast, isn't it?
Podcast is the only
No.
classmate.
It's wrong here on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. Well,
should be podcast.
Yeah, so
Like,
it should be podcast,
Again,
and then
the only one I
girlfriend.
liked was like as a sidekick, podcast, and then obviously
Podcast and Trevor, and then Mr. Gruberson. Those were the three characters that I liked, other than obviously the original team.
Yeah.
To
to me, that's not enough to make me go out and
well,
see the
yeah,
new
it
team.
doesn't. God, man, the original Ghostbusters was lightning in a bottle, and Alex knows it that you can't recreate that.
You
stuff.
can't.
Well, no, I understand.
Comedians in their goddamn prime, and they tried to do it with the all-female team with comedians
They
that are
blew that
not
shit.
necessarily in their prime,
They could
and
have done it better, but
they fucked that one up. And this one they centered around a Phoebe, and
which they did a great
for the
job.
most part that worked. So that's why it's still a solid film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The jokes, the energy, the fun, the nostalgia berries are
Slimer.
there, but it could have been
Where's Slimer?
better. No Slimer.
It's in the containment.
He's in containment, Joe.
Oh, he should have been out.
Yeah.
I wanted him out.
No.
I wanted to see
I
him
wanted
at
a
least.
Vigo reference. I didn't see a Vigo
I
reference.
want a Vigo reference.
Or
too,
Janosch.
man. Janosch.
Something?
Damn it. Maybe one of the CGI goes flying around, but no, they didn't.
It was
Because
like-
you barely see those fucking things.
Apparently this movie completely ignores all of the other movies except for the first one. So that's probably why there's no Janosch. But I love you, Janosch.
Okay, well, maybe in a sequel if they do one, or in a TV series if they do one, they'll bring it back. But here's the thing: I don't want them to do that's. If you're gonna do it like this, then might as well fucking bring him. But I want original stuff. I really do.
Everything
And
you are doing is bad.
yes,
I want you
to know this. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you want to see more Ghostbusters content
Let us know
with
in the
this
comments.
with this team, or not?
Say, hey, OJ, I'm a kid and you're stupid. Okay, I get it.
That's going to be the first comment
That's
now that
the
you've said it.
comment?
That's the first comment.
Hey,
Yeah,
OJ,
because you're like, well,
I'm a kid and you are
kid,
stupid.
and yours-
Yeah,
and you-
because I said, well, kids also like Space Jam too.
You didn't say kids were stupid. I said it for you. But
No,
we knew
I
what
said,
you
No,
well,
he gets
kids-
his, yeah.
Kids
Anyway.
like Space Jam too.
Fuck you, OJ.
Yeah.
And to clarify, I don't like parents to bring their kids to the movie theater if the kids are too
like a
young
little
to
draft
know not
house,
to talk
right?
in the movie theater.
No, nobody likes that. Who the fuck would like that?
Oh,
Leave your kids at home.
People in the I
No,
use a blender in the movie theater.
that's not
Mom,
a-
I paid my ticket.
Anyways, apparently on Rotten Tomatoes, 63% critics, 98% audience.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that.
it's a crowd pleaser, but it has flaws in it from a critic's point of view and a movie reviewing point of view. All right, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. But
wrong
that
we
what
are.
maintains, unfortunately, Gozer was not that scary. But you know what is scary? Is the internet.
It is a very scary
It's a
place.
very scary place. You need to protect your data, and you need to not let anyone tell you what you can and can't watch. And what you can do is get around all that and protect your data with Surfshark. Okay, guys, click those links down below. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring our episode. And yes, Bustin' feels.
Makes me feel
Bustin'
good.
feels good.
Bustin'
I think
feels good.
overall,
Bustin'
Bustin'
makes me
still
feel
feels
good.
good. Bustin' still feels good, and we'll see where it goes after this. Single movie franchise?
Single movie.
I don't know. All right. Bye, guys.